Good morning or good afternoon, fine folks of Excel. So we're going to do a little nutritional lab. Um, and so you want to have a calculator. You can use your phone calculator, or if you have a smartphone, you can download or go to a web calculator, uh, or good old-fashioned calculator. You're going to need to multiply and divide. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what the lab is we're going to do. It's just a calculation lab, and this is for your own health. It's more fun, but it's going to be very informative as well. So here you're going to go to classwork, and this, as of the video, is not open to you, but it will be. It's a nutrition lab. I note this is not due. I put for Monday. Okay. So on this lesson, when you get to it, you'll watch this Edpuzzle food label first. And you can answer those questions as you go. That's the attendance assignment. So I want you to do that one by Thursday. And then you have Thursday, Friday, the weekend, but basically Monday. Monday is your day to finish or to do this. Do as much as you can. If you don't get it finished, if you run into too many hiccups, that's okay. So click on that and it'll open just like this. But it's going to be hard to fill in this assignment. Normally on its regular fashion, you can type right into those blue and yellow lines. You're not going to be able to. So I want you to go up to open with. And some of you, if you've been students here, you might have Kami. If you don't, it's an easy download. And I should have shown you how to do this, because this right here, annotate with Kami, I did not have that there. What I did is I clicked on connect more apps. So once you open it, it comes like this. Go up here and says open with, and if you don't have annotate with Kami, go ahead and say connect more apps, and in the search bar put Kami. I mean, this took literally 20 seconds probably, and a couple buttons. You push connect with Kami. Allow it to access your Google Drive. Yes, allow it to access Google Drive, and it puts it on there really quick. So I opened it with Kami, annotate with Kami. When you click on that, you can go back to classroom again. You'll open it again right here. And again, you'll click on open with Kami and see it gives you this Google Drive, enable Google Drive to open. Yes, authorize Google Drive. This is what it will look like. Choose an account. You want to choose your Mo Goodwill account. Mo Goodwill Excel. And then it'll ask you, Kami wants to access your Google account. This will allow Kami to blah, 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 blah. Yes, yes, yes. It's all for school anyway, right? So it's just what you're doing is you're telling it can go into your school account, because that's what Kami will have to do, so it can get the document that I put here. So just click allow. You'll have to scroll down, and then boom, you should be in. You'll see your bar on the left-hand side. So please authorize Kami with Google to allow turning this Google Classroom assignment, turning in. Yes, you want to turn it in with this, so authorize. My goodness, there's so many approvals here now with that one. Why are we going through this again? Please authorize Kami with Google to allow turning in. Okay, so that's a little different. Allow again. And at last, we're there. So you can even just look at the time in this video, and that was real time. So you're just allowing access to the file, and then you're allowing Kami to be able to turn it into Google. That is to put it back into the file. So again, you don't need to know why, just allow and approve. But if you do want to know why, what you're doing is letting Kami program take the file out of your Google Drive, and then you work on it, save it, and you've given now, the second one was to give permission for Kami to put it back into your Google Drive completed with your annotation. Okay, that's the mechanics all aside now. It took a full minute maybe to do that, and hopefully get here quick enough. So this is 5 pages long. That's a lot of reading. That's okay. It's good. Read it slow. Understanding is better. This is for you. I think it will be very informative and very fun for you. So calculating your basal metabolic rate. So most people can have a successful, healthy diet just by estimating their quantity of food and timing their meals equally throughout the day, as opposed to counting every calorie and so forth. So until you get used to a new diet regimen, though, you may need to weigh some foods at first to grasp the idea of what 1 cup looks like and what 2 ounces of salad dressing is in your bowl, so on and so forth. Most people at first will overestimate and therefore overconsume. So this is a quick definition of basal metabolic rate. It's the rate at which, or the speed at which, your body uses energy while you're at rest. We all have different metabolic rates. You've probably heard this before. Well, I have a slow metabolism. Well, I have a fast metabolism. I could never gain weight. I'm an ectomorph. I guess my metabolism's constantly going because I just can't pack a tortilla on hardly. So there's all kinds of ways to do this, namely 3, and none of them perfect. It's just aimed at getting an estimation. Okay. So notice it's women and men. Make sure you pick the right category for your body. Weight in pounds, height in inches. If you know there's 12 inches in a foot and you know you're 5'1", well, 5 times 12 is 60. And then you add that 1, 61. Or have some fun, get a measuring tape and get someone to measure you in inches. But try to convert your height into inches. Again, there's 12 inches in a foot. Let's see if I can get my drawing here. Drawing. I'm going to go green. So if you are 5'1", right, 5'1" on your license, then you're just going to say that 5 times 12 and punch that in a calculator. And it's going to give you 60 inches. And then don't forget to add that 1 inch. So you're 61 inches, and that's what you would put in here. I know it's simple enough, but sometimes it can get confusing. So I thought I would share that. Weight in pounds, if you're about 160. All right. And then minus your age in years. Let's say you're 38. So you're a woman in this case, looks like. I'm going to get my calculator out. And that's a lot. You might need some scratch paper. So I'm going to first do, and we look right here. You're going to do a lot of adding and multiplying, but we've got to do it in chunks. So using the order of operations that you may have learned in math, you're going to go to the parentheses first. Okay, so I'm going to put in here 4.35 times 160. So that gives me 696. You can so you don't have to write that part on here. You can do that on your scratch paper. I am, because I have this power to 696, and I'll just erase it later. So now I'm going to go to the next one, and it's 4.7 times 61, and that's 286.7. And then lastly, 4.7 again, and this time times 38, my age, and that's 178.6. 178.6. So now I have those 3 calculations done. Now I got to add these up. So the 655.1 plus this, plus that, and then minus this equals your basal metabolic rate. So let's do it. 655.1. 655.1 plus 696 plus 286.7 equals that big number, 1637. I'm going to subtract, that's a subtraction, 178.6 equals 1459. And that's what I will write in here. 1459. If you want to be specific, you can do 0.2, but I'd just say 1459 is your basal metabolic rate for your gender, if you're a woman, anyway. So that's it. Men, you do the same thing. You just have different numbers. If this file, and I'll try to attach this as a second file. If I do, this video might be mute. It allows you to put in these three and it does the calculation for you. Wouldn't that be beautiful? It would. So I'll see if I can find that. But as of this video, you're going to do it this way. So perform those multiplications. If you got your weight, your height, and your age, perform those multiplications first, and then just don't forget you're going to add that number to these and then subtract this one, and you're going to get a value. That's your basal metabolic rate. All right. So once you know your BMR, you need to calculate your daily caloric needs. So if this is what your general, it's based on your weight and your height, so it's going to be different for everybody. You can calculate then your nutrition level. So sedentary, to determine your total daily calorie needs, multiply your BMR by the appropriate activity factor as follows. So if you're rather sedentary, a little to no exercise, you take the calorie minus the calculation equals your BMR times 1.2. Lightly active, you can do BMR times 1.375, BMR times, and when it says BMR, in this case, you're looking at the 1459. So you'd punch in on your calculator, 1459 times 1.2, okay? So this is just giving you a space to do that. So here's your BMR, which was 1459 times the activity level. And I was like, well, you know, usually I'm just kind of, but I do exercise 3 hours a week. I clean that house as a nonstop, and I'm chasing kids. So maybe I'll do moderate. Okay, I'll do moderate. So do whatever, you pick it, okay? Here's a description. 1 to 3 days per week. If you're chasing kids and cleaning house, maybe here. If it's 3 to 5 days, moderate exercise, you can pick the 1.55. Let's pick 1.375. 1.375. And you punch that in the calculator, 1459 times 1.375 equals 2006. 2006. Bam. So if you want to maintain, are you ready? If you are happy at 5'1", 160 pounds, and you have enough energy and activity level, and your dietary intake is such that you're just happy to stay there. Maybe you're afraid of going up. You're happy where you are, but you don't want to go up anymore. And starting from now, I want to maintain this shape and figure. Well, then you can get an estimate of your calories right here, 2,000. So I didn't bring a, let's see if I can pause here. So you've seen the video on reading food labels, and hopefully know a little bit about reading the food label. A lot of food comes packaged now in this 100 calorie packages and such. But just to kind of keep tabs, these are usually based on I believe it's 25 or a 2,000. So as it turns out, we're kind of right in line with it. Where did it go? It says based on a certain level. So some people consume, my son tries to consume double. He's trying to put on all this weight and lifting weights and such. So he's trying to consume at least about 3,000 probably calories per day. Some days I know we only take on 500 to 1,000 calories because it's a slim day, nothing to eat, maybe a banana, granola bar, or some candy or something. But and then some days we're able to gorge and have a lot. So just as best as possible, you can estimate that if you continue to have 2,000 calories more or less a day, you're going to maintain that weight with this activity level. So 1.375, 1.375, that was for lightly active. Now you can also use this possibly to see what if you wanted to be somewhere else. What if you want to be very active 6 to 7 days a week? Do 1.725 and you will get a higher number of calories that you can consume. If you're going to pick up the activity, well, then you can eat more, right? Again, this is all at maintaining current weight. Got it? That's maintaining. So if you up your activity level, guess what else you can up? Your calories. Watch what happens. Let's say very active, 1.725. Okay. So I'm going to do 1459 times, in this case, for very active, it's 1.725. 2,500. Woohoo! I'm eating more snacks. So now 2516. Now I can eat more. If I'm going to be very active, 1.725. All right, 2,500. Now, if you have very little activity and you know you don't plan on doing any extra action, you might want to go to 1.2, and that's going to decrease this number. Okay, it's going to be something like 18 or 1900. So you better start eating less if you're not going to do any activity. All right. Hopefully this makes sense. This is all aimed at maintaining, but this is not to say anything that you ought to be at or should be at. I think we all know when we feel better and best, depending on water we drink, the kind of food we eat and put in, whether it bloats us, makes us feel sluggish. Part 2, planning for informed nutrient intake. Read through here carefully, best you can. More math. Calculating macronutrients. So how much in protein? So you're going to make your calculations based on the daily caloric needs value. So for us, remember it was in this example, it was 2006, right? So protein, daily caloric needs times 0.25, because 25% of your diet ought to be proteins. So you multiply that times 0.25. Punch that into your calculator, ignore, that's a comma. Okay, and you're going to get value, and you can type that in there. Since 1 gram of protein contains 4 kilocalories, we can calculate the number of grams of protein we need to consume daily using the following equation. So you take your protein kilocal per day, which is this number, okay, and then you divide it by 4, because you're getting 4 kilocalories in 1 gram. Okay, so let's read that again carefully. Since 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories, and we just calculated what's a quarter of 2,000. Can anybody guess? It's going to be about 500, I think. So 0.25 times 2006 equals, in our case, 501. So again, 2006 goes there. That comes from the basal metabolic or calories per day, and comes out to 501.5. So protein kilocalories per day, that's going to be 501.5 divided by 4 equals, so 501 divided by 4 equals 125. So 125 grams of protein per day. Okay. So look on your packages. This particular one for protein probably has very little, 6 grams of sugar, 3 grams of fat, 95 milligrams of sodium, 2 grams. Oh, hot dang. I need to eat 12 of these. 2 grams. What's 120? I need to eat 60 of these bags. Well, all right, so you hopefully have a little varied diet beyond snacks. Get the idea? So if you're reading food labels, you can look at your grams, and honestly, this is pretty much all my son looks at because he wants a protein bulk up, right? So 125 grams of protein per day. So you erase all your scratch work. You can do this, of course, on paper. I'm just using the screen to do it. But hopefully that makes sense. Once again, you first calculate your basal metabolic rate. We move that basal metabolic rate to right here. Pick an activity level to maintain that current weight. And that's your daily caloric needs. Once you know your daily caloric needs, how much of those calories should come from proteins, how much should come from fat, and how much should come from carbs. And that's what we're calculating here. So we move down our 2006. This is now our daily caloric needs times 25%. Should be protein, and we get 501 calories from protein. Well, this tells you right here that 1 gram of protein is 4 kilocalories. So when you take our calories, divide by 4, so 501.5 divided by 4 equals, and we got 125. Now you know why this is not due till Monday. So feel free to slow down the speed of my talking or speed it up. If I'm going too slow, this is on video, so you're welcome to pause and rewatch at any point. So that was proteins. You'll do the same thing for carbohydrates. A greater part of your diet should give you energy. Fats have more kilocalories, 9, than carbohydrates and proteins. Carbohydrates and proteins each have only 4 kilocalories per gram. 4 kilocalories per gram. Notice fats, 9 kilocalories per gram. Fats are healthy for you, but this is why you eat less, because you get more calories in 1 gram. So you're probably going to have less of that. So the number is going to change. All right, and then calculate your fat, and now you know your nutrient. So if that's all you get to, I'll be satisfied. That'll be a passing grade. If you want to get 100, try to get all of it done. Part 3, recording nutrient needs. So video. So these are all reflective questions. Daily meals. So go back to part 2, look at your answers, fill them in here, calculate grams per day, fill them in there. You're just filling in the chart from all the calculations you've already done. All right, and give this some thought. This is your calculated, what you did up there. This will take some time, okay? This one, pick any 2 or 3 days, 1 or 2 days, 1 day to keep track of your calories, just for the sake of this lab, and tell us what you actually did. And let's see if there's a difference between what you calculated you ought to have done to maintain your weight and what you actually did. All right, that's it. I know it's a lot. It's a lot, but I think it's going to be very informative, going to be very reflective. There's some good links down there. I'm going to erase all my work so it doesn't clutter this for you guys, just in case, because I've done that before. Well, go back and rewatch this if there was any questions. And of course, you can always email me if you have questions. You do need a calculator. There'll be a lot of times, plus and minus and such like that. All right. Well, hope you have a good day. Enjoy this. This is going to be very useful for you.